Hey guys, welcome back. It's Jerry once again with Hilltop Firearms Training Center here in Dover, Tennessee. Thanks for watching. Let's talk a little bit about malfunctions that occur whenever we're shooting. Today we're going to be talking about malfunctions that occur with our semi-automatic pistol. Basically, three things can be attributed to any type of malfunction. Normally, it's going to be a malfunction that has to do with a mechanical side or a mechanical aspect. The gun does something or doesn't do something it needs to do in order for the gun to fire and or extract a round. So it's a mechanical. Then you have human error. Human error could be, say, limp wristing, not allowing the gun enough resistance as the gun's the slide is reciprocating. If you don't hold the gun tight enough, sometimes you can cause a limp wrist or a failure to extract or feed. So that would be a human error. And then there's also mechanical, but on the ammunition side, a failure of the ammunition itself. So let's talk about just a few of these quick things and how to fix them when you're shooting. As with everything with us, we like to keep things very simple. So here we go. Type 1 malfunction, a failure to feed or fire. Now what would that mean, a failure to feed or fire? Say I put my magazine in, I rack the slide, there's one round in. I bring the gun up, press the trigger, I make a hit, I go to press the trigger again, and what do I get? A click instead of a bang. Now that most of the time is going to be where the magazine was not fully seated. So what I'm saying is, we got dummy rounds here, but I put the magazine in, but it's barely seated. And for some reason, I'm able to get a round out of that magazine that's not fully seated, goes into the chamber. I make one hit, the second one is an empty chamber. There's nothing in there. It did not strip that round out of the magazine and load it into place. That is a very common thing. It happens all the time. It is simply a click instead of a bang. So what do? The first thing we always try to do is, because we keep it simple, if I get a click, I think, well, it's either a bad round or an empty chamber. So quickly I tap and get another round in there. Okay? Let me go ahead and unload. So, what about a defective round itself? What if, when we press the trigger, it cycles, extracts, puts another round in, but we get a click instead of a bang? What if it simply hit the firing pin or striker, however our gun is set up, whatever type of firearm we're using, hits the back of the primer, but it does not go off? That then tells me it's a defective round, a bad primer, something's wrong with that out-of-spec ammunition. We simply treat it the same way. Tap and rack. Get that bad round out, get another round in there as quickly as possible. Sometimes certain firearms can still fire, but they're slightly out of battery. And I'm just talking, I mean slightly. And you get a light strike, meaning the firing pin hits the primer, but it does not go off. Now that is not as common, but it does happen, guys. Okay, type 2. Type 2 malfunction looks a little bit like this. Okay? Type 2 malfunction sometimes is referred to as a stovepipe, but what happens is it's a failure to fully extract. So as we're shooting, bam, you get this. The casing is partially ejected, but not all the way. Now what could that mean? Two things. What if I limp wristed it? Once again, a human error. I didn't give the gun enough resistance, and as the slide reciprocated and moved backward, it didn't have enough oomph to get that thing fully out and extracted. So you got this little stovepipe sitting at the top of your ejection port. Another thing could be a mechanical error. What if our extractor has become weak? So as it grabs that spent casing with its hook, and as it starts to claw its way back, it's not as strong as it once was. That could definitely be causing that. So how do we deal with that? Once again, click, tap. I want to rotate the gun slightly over to the side, hopefully allowing the ejection port to be canted enough to where I can come over the top and get that out. Now, if that doesn't work, sometimes we're going to have to strip the magazine out if it falls down into the mag well. So now we have another failure, a type 3. A type 3, I'm going to try to set it up, is where we have one round in the chamber and another round trying to go in the same spot. That is a true jam, guys. If we get a double feed, I'm telling you now, the old tap and rack is not going to work. It's going to be tap, rack, and you're going to realize, oh, now, different schools teach different things, but what we recommend, if the tap and the rack doesn't work, simply, you're going to have to change your grip, but you're going to want to engage the slide stop, lock open, strip the mag out, clear, 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 fresh mag in. That's about the only way to do it. Let's get on the range, let's load some live ammo, and we're going to demonstrate the various ways to do this. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and just kind of show you what a type 2 malfunction would be, meaning the failure to fully extract the casing. Now, there's no real way to set that up. A failure to fire, where you put a dummy round, which we just did, we can set that up, we can replicate that. But setting these next two malfunctions, we sort of have to set them up like in a mock scenario. So, I'm shooting, and for some reason I get nothing, and I look and I see a partially ejected round. I'll just show you. We're going to clear it just like we did normally the type 1. Okay guys, so a type 3 malfunction. Once again, 2 rounds trying to go into the same chamber. The tap and the rack will not work. And why is that? Because you have pressure from the slide pushing the casing against the feed ramp and or chamber, as well as pressure from the magazine, because the slide is holding it all jammed up. So the tap and the rack is not going to fix the situation. Now here's where a little bit of the controversy comes from. Say you are in a fight for your life, the gun does this. You have a double feed, and you only had 1 spare magazine. If this is the only magazine that you have, the only way to get it cleared is to lock the slide to the rear, strip the magazine out. And do you hold onto that magazine by putting it into your pocket, clearing the problem, putting the magazine back in? Or simply ditching the magazine if you have a spare. That's up to you. The situation is going to dictate that, but here we go. There's only one way we can really replicate it, but I'm shooting and I have this occur. Strip mag out, clear it at least 3 times, moving the gun to the side to make sure the stuff does fall out. If I only had 1 more magazine, I got to go get that mag. Or simply grabbing a fresh mag, guys, it's something to think about. I hope that this kind of cleared up a few of the controversies between how to clear certain malfunctions, but honestly, when that gun is double locked up like that with a round in the chamber, a round trying to go in it, simply tapping and racking will not clear that situation. You have to strip that magazine out, and it kind of goes back to, should you carry a spare magazine if you make the commitment to carry a firearm in the first place? If that magazine that I just stripped out was my only mag, first of all, you have to think, do I have the luxury of getting to cover? This can go any which way, but I just wanted to kind of throw some of these ideas out there to you guys. I thank you for watching. As always, we will see you soon on the range.